allow me first to congratulate you on your purchase of a U.S. Industrial Machinery press brake. At this time, I'd like to cover some of the common features on these machines. SICK 4000 light curtain, touch screen, CNC controller, which is a Windows CE based, stock arms, disappearing stops. The machine also comes with a Mitsubishi PLC, comes with Mitsubishi frequency controllers, telemechanique contactors. Any component found in the electrical cabinet can be found locally in your city or in the United States, or we stock all electrical components of this machine. All hydraulic valves can be purchased in the United States. They're universally designed, and we also stock all hydraulic valves. All U.S. industrial press brakes come with a stabilizing torsion bar, as seen. All U.S. industrial press brakes comes with a bag gauge with adjustable fingers, as shown. Let me cover the control panel. This is your power indicator light. The key switch is part of your start circuit. It has to be to the on position for the motor to start, which we covered earlier in start procedure. This is your motor start button, motor stop. Emergency stop, selector knob. This selector switch, well, if in that position, you can jog the machine using the buttons or the pedal, the foot pedals, up or down. The machine, the ram will not raise if the selector knob is in this position unless you hit the up pedal. If in this position, which is auto return, the ram will automatically return after it has reached a given dwell time that you have established in either single or auto run mode. This button is your CNC start, which you will use in single and auto run. It is not necessary in the manual mode. This is your CNC stop button, which will allow you, after you hit your stop, to make changes to your CNC. Press brakes come with tooling for training purposes. The bed has a tang groove cut in it to accept any tooling you may already have or may purchase for customized purposes, which can also, you can call us on and we can help assist you and help you through the purchase of. This is a 9-way die, so it's very versatile for what you may intend for use. The die can be rotated from die to die using the loops that will come in your accessory box. You simply lower your ram, you will hook the loop onto your ram and your die, raise the ram, the die will lift with it. At that point, you will rotate your die to the die that you have selected for what purpose you intend, lower it down, lock it in, align it to your punch, and you're ready to run. All U.S. industrial machinery press brakes comes with a pressure gauge located over your electrical cabinet. On machines that do not have the auto crown option, you have a remote pressure adjustment valve. This adjustment valve, as you see, increase and decrease. If you need more pressure, you can increase it. If you need less, decrease it. It's not recommended that you take it under 1200 psi because you need so much pressure to raise your ram. So you will be adjusting your pressure as needed based on thickness of metal, the V-die that you're using, and the length of the metal needed. Your main pressure relief or your main relief valve is set at a given pressure, and when this valve is turned all the way in, you can achieve the full pressure. It's not recommended to run your machine on full pressure if you're running lighter gauge or smaller pieces of metal. We're now showing the R-axis feature, which is an option, and this R-axis allows the back gauge to move up and down in a vertical motion. This is an option on the U.S. Industrial Machinery press brakes. It's the auto crown option. What this does, or its purpose, is so that when you bend long lengths of metal, you can achieve the same angle over the entire length. This is a pressure gauge. It's located over your electrical cabinet on a machine that is equipped with auto crown. You will not have a pressure adjustment. The pressure will be achieved by the computer. The computer will determine the pressure needed to bend the length, thickness of metal using whatever die and punch you have chosen. Before you start up your machine, you want to ensure that your machine has a proper oil level. This is your oil level gauge / temperature gauge. You will want your oil level 1/2 to 3/4 full. It will tell you in your manual how many gallons of oil is needed for your particular machine. At this point, I'd like to go over what is necessary to start your pump, startup procedure. On your rear gate, there's an interlock switch. The door must be closed completely and the switch must be made before your machine will start. You will then turn on your power at this point. Next, you'll have to ensure that both e-stops are open. Turn your key to the on position. You will at that point turn the motor on, turn it off to check rotation of your pump motor. So let me recap. To do an initial startup, ensure the rear gate is closed, both e-stops are open, the key is on, start the pump, ensure rotation is proper. Here you'll find your 2 ram position switches. The switch on the left is your ram up position switch. That can be changed by either simply loosening and lowering the switch if you don't want so much of an opening to increase production. The switch on the right is your slow down switch. At this point, when the ram comes down, it will hit the slow down switch and it will go into a pressing mode. This switch is used to establish a pinch point, and at no time should both switches be made at the same time. If both switches were to be made at the same time, your machine will not function properly. The Y-axis will not change unless the ram up position switch is made on the machines. The machine has to know that it's in a safe position for the Y-axis to move. All machines come calibrated to your facility. We calibrate them here at the warehouse before they leave. Sometimes when you anchor and level the machine, the calibration could be slightly off. Here's how you would check or change your calibration if needed. You will first go to machine, you will go to manual, then go to Y-axis. At this point, making sure that the ram is in the up position, hitting the ram up switch because the Y-axis will not adjust unless it is. you will adjust your ram position, your y-axis position, using the buttons. The double negative will lower, the double positive will raise. Fast speed. The single will lower in slow speed. The single positive will raise in slow speed. At this point, you would start your pump, and you will either utilize these two that will only work in the fast speed. Once it hits your slow down switch, it will go no further unless you hit the down pedal. At this point, you'll hit the down pedal, bring it down till you hear pressure on the machine. Once you hear pressure on the machine, you will then take a piece of metal and you will try to get it between, straight across, flat, horizontally, between the punch and the die. If you cannot achieve that, you will then raise the ram to where it makes the ram up switch so that we can adjust your y-axis. At this point, the punch was too low, so we need to raise the punch. What we will do is hit the double plus, and you will notice on your screen the numbers will change, increasing. What that is telling you is you are moving the y-axis up away from the bed so that the ram will stop sooner. At this point, you'll drop it down till you hear pressure let off of the pedal. Allow me to go back. Your selector switch must be in the jog mode, which is achieved by turning it in a counterclockwise manner. If you turn it in a clockwise manner, it will work off your dwell time, which we will cover later. And the ram will automatically return by itself. At this point, after adjusting your Y, you will attempt again to put the metal in between. As you can see, the metal will go between the punch and the die, meaning that now we must lower. So we raise the ram using the single negative because we only want to bring it down a small amount. You will bring the ram down. You will see the number decreasing, which means it's moving the y-axis closer. You will bring it down, put metal in, and there's still play, so it has to come down further. What we are doing here is establishing a pinch point. The punch must be snug along the surface once it is laying on the die. That is called a pinch point. We will lower the ram a bit more. Bring it down till we hear pressure. Let off. We're still a little high. Take it up. If you would like, you can actually use gauges to find out how much distance you got. The number on the screen is in inches, going all the way to thousandths of an inch. You can literally measure that distance if you'd like. It's just a matter of getting the feel right now. Now I'm a little low. That means I have to come up a little bit. One other thing I failed to mention earlier. Always use a stylus instead of your finger because the oils in your skin will damage the screen. So I'll raise it a slight bit. We'll bring it down. Still a little low. I'm now moving it up approximately 5/1000ths of an inch each time. Now I'm about 3/1000ths high, so I'll move it down about 3/1000ths. Now, you'll see there's no play in the metal. It's snug. At this point, you have established a pinch point. This is how you determine numerically what your pinch point is. You will measure the height of your die, and you will add the thickness of your metal using calipers. Before your machine leaves here, I will measure your die height. It will be in your die library. At this point, we will exit from manual Y, and then I will show you, demonstrate how to find the height of your die. As mentioned before, if you notice the number on the screen, when you hit the double negative, it will lower the number. Let me raise the ram. The ram has to be in the up position. I did that to demonstrate that the Y will